Hi, hello. Today in this lesson, let us discuss about keys. In the previous lesson, we have discussed a definition of the key, function of the key, material of the key, and types of keys, proportions of different types of keys, and the splines also we have discussed, and also we completed proportions of splines and designation of splines. So now today in this lesson let us discuss about design of Sankiki. Design of Sankiki and some solved problems let us discuss in this lesson. So objectives of this lesson, on completion of this lesson you would be able to know design of Sankikis, proportions of Sankikis, and also some of the problems. How to solve some of the problems also let us see in this. So first of all, design of Sankiki. Design of Sankikis, let us see what are the stresses are induced. The Sankiki, as we have discussed already, the half of the key is present in the shaft and half of the key is in the present in the, that means in the hub of the mount. So that means the keyway, whatever the keyway is there, off in the hub, off in the shaft. So due to this, there are some forces are going to act while transmitting the torque from one place to another place. That means from shaft to the hub of the mounting. Some forces are acting. Due to those forces, some stresses are also going to be developed in the keys. So what are those stresses? Stresses in the key are induced by the following forces. What are the forces are there in the key? Number one, the forces are occurring due to fitting of the key in the keyway. That means while not to set the key in the keyway, we are going to fit by, it may be by force. Also, especially some keys are to be driven into the keyway by applying some force. So due to that fitting, some forces are going to produce in the key. That means forces due to fitting of key in a keyway. Number one type of forces. Number two, the forces that are caused by the torque transmitter. The forces that are produced or caused by transmitting the torque from shaft to the mounting and there to the, say, on the shaft. So these are the two ways of forces, two types of forces, that is due to fitting of the key in the keyway and due to power transmission or torque transmission. So among these, so in order to determine these key, so the forces and whatever the stresses are developing due to the fitting of the keyway and also due to torque transmission are little bit complexity, and determination of these stresses or becomes very complex, thereby the exact analysis of these stresses usually can't be made. And then what we had to do, let us assume something. So it is assumed that the entire torque is carried out by the tangential force located at the surface of the shaft, that is outer surface of the shaft. That means a tangential force is acting at the outer surface of the shaft. That tangential force is carrying the entire torque. That is the first assumption. Number two assumption is the force along the length of the key is uniform. These are the two assumptions are made in the design of Sankiki. Because these assumptions are made only because of complexity in the analysis of stresses, usually which can't be made. So number one assumption is entire torque is carried out by the tangential force which is located at the shaft surface. Number two is the forces acting along the length of the key is uniform. So these are the two assumptions that you must remember always, right? Next is how it is going to get failed. What are the possibilities of failure of the key? The key may fail in the following ways. Number one, the key may fail due to crushing. That means shaft crushes in one direction and the hub crushes on other direction. As it is the key, the shaft is going to crush in the direction of rotation of the shaft, and as it is the hub is stationary, that is going to crush in another side. That means the crushing takes place half of the thickness of the key in one side, half of the thickness of the key in the other side. So this is to be resisted by the key. That means if they are resisting the crushing is insufficient, that means the key may fail due to crushing. If the resistance to the crushing is insufficient. Number two is the key may fail also due to shearing. If the area resisting the shearing is insufficient and inadequate. These two are the failures of the key, possible failures of the key causes. Number one cause is crushing. Due to crushing may fail if the area resisting the crushing is insufficient, and there is a possibility of failure due to shearing if the area resisting the shearing is insufficient, inadequate. So both the above cases, stresses induced in key is greater than the permissible values. That means in crushing as well as shearing respective. The stresses induced in key is greater than the permissible values, then only they may fail. So some of the notes relating to the design, the keys may fail due to shearing and also crushing as per the previous discussion, failure of the key, and so that the designer usually should conform to the Indian standard recommendations on the width as well as the thickness of the key. It means in the design part, the designer should conform to the standards proposed by the BIS, that is Bureau of Indian Standards, in respect of width as well as the thickness. And the length required is calculated by considering either the shear strength and crushing strength of the key. It means, first of all, you have to take the proportions as per the Indian standards relating to the width and thickness, and then length can be calculated based upon by considering the shear strength as well as the crushing strength of the key. So while considering the strength of the key, it is customary to neglect that means you are going to neglect the forces occurring due to fitting of the key in the key. That means we are only considering, and also these forces due to fitting of the keyway are very negligible when compared to the forces due to transmission of torque from one place to another place. That's why these forces that are fitting of the key in the keyway are neglected. Right? This is also an assumption. Strength of the key. Here you can see. So this is the F is the tangential force acting at the surface of the key at the surface of the shaft on the key. So thereby half of the part of the keyway is crushed by the hub, and half of the keyway, half of the thickness of the key is crushed by the shaft. Half part of thickness is crushed by the key shaft, and half about by hub. That is, so crushing area will be T by 2 into length of the key. Thickness of the key into length of the key is the area resisting the crushing. And similarly, area resisting the shear. Shearing is parallel to the tangential force. That's why width of the key into length is the shearing area. Width of the key. So this will be the area of shearing. That means width of the key and length will give you the area resisting the shearing. And area resisting the crushing is thickness of the key and length. So let T be the torque transmitted, torque to be transmitted in Newton millimeters, and Fs or tau. Fs or tau shear stress induced in the keyway in Newton millimeters, and sigma c or Fc is the compression or crushing stress induced in the key, and D will be the diameter of the shaft in millimeters, and the W, small w, is the width of the key in millimeters, and T is the thickness of the key in millimeters. So will be the length of the key in millimeters. Once again the notations: capital T, torque to be transmitted in Newton millimeters, and Fs or tau shear stress induced in the key in Newton per millimeter square. Fc or sigma c is the compressive stress or crushing stress induced in the key in Newton per millimeter square. D will be the diameter of the shaft in millimeters. W, width of the key in millimeters. T is the thickness of the key in millimeters, and L is the length of the key in millimeters. So now let us consider the shear strength. So T is the torque transmitted. Torque is nothing but the force into radius as per the definition of the key torque. So here torque is equal to tangential force into radius of the shaft. So tangential force is equal to, in terms of shearing strength, shear stress into shear area into radius of the shaft is nothing but the diameter of the shaft by 2. And now shear stress is represented by tau, and the shearing area as per the previous discussion is width of the key into length of the key. This will be the shearing area, and this is the shear stress, and this is the radius of the shaft, that is d by 2 or small r. This is the first equation. So T is equal to tau into WL into d by 2. And now let us consider the crushing strength. So here in this, also same as the T is equal to tangential force into radius of the shaft, and tangential force once again in terms of crushing. So compressive stress or the crushing stress into area of compression or area of crushing into d by 2. That is radius of the shaft. So crushing stress is equal to sigma c. So and crushing area is equal to T by 2 into L, and then d by 2. And finally you will get, in terms of crushing, capital T is equal to sigma c into TL d by 4. Right? So this is the considering the shearing strength tau WL d by 2, and considering the crushing strength sigma c TL d by 4. So this is the equation 2. So the induced stresses computed by the above equations 1 and 2 should not exceed, that means they are the induced stresses. One is that T, capital T is equal to WL tau d by 2, and one is the torque is equal to, or twisting moment is equal to sigma c TLD by 4. So these induced stresses should not exceed their permissible values or allowable values. If they exceed their permissible values, the key gets failed, right? So that's why, so a special case, if you see, that is these two equations are for Sankiki and they are for rectangular Sankiki. If it is the square, if it is the square key, T is equal to W. For square key, T is equal to W, and for steel, sigma C is equal to 2 times of tau. That means crushing stress is equal to twice of the shearing strength. Crushing stress for steel material, mild steel, and for square key, and this sigma C, the crushing stress is equal to 2 times of shearing stress. So for square steel key is equally strong in shearing and crushing. So now what is the effect of keyway? So far we have discussed about the failure and what are the forces are going to act in the on the shaft and key. Number 2, and how it is the assumptions made in analysis of the stresses, and also the failure of the keys in the keyway and the shaft, and also we have discussed the strength. That means shearing strength and crushing strength also we have discussed so far, and the respective formulas and the equations also we have discussed so far. In this, once again, what will be the effect of keyway, cutting of keyway in the shaft? What will be the effect of keyway in the or the shaft? So let us see. Due to cutting of the keyway cut into the shaft reduces the strength of the shaft. Reduces the strength of the shaft due to the stress concentrations. That means the stresses are concentrated mainly at the keyway of the shaft. So because the weakest part in the shaft is the area at which the keyway is cut. So that's why the total stresses are concentrated at the keyway only. That's why the strength of the strength of the shaft reduces at the keyway only. Number 1. Number 2, the strength of the keyed shafts. That means in which of the shaft the keyway is there, its strength will be reduced by 25%. Then the strength of the keyed shaft is taken as only 75% of the strength of the solid shaft. So that is the effect of keyway, right? So the keyway cut into the shaft reduces the strength of the shaft due to stress concentrations. Number 2, the strength of the keyed shaft is taken as 75% of the solid shaft. That means 25% of the strength will be reduced due to cutting of the keyway in the shaft. And now the proportions of the rectangular Sankiki as we have discussed in the previous lesson. Once again, let us review and recall all those proportions. Usually the proportions are given below. One is width of the key, W is equal to 1/4 of the shaft diameter, and thickness of the key, T is 2/3 of the width of the key or 1/6 of the diameter of the shaft. Any one is correct. And where D is the diameter of the shaft, and the key has a taper of 1/100, and that means 1:100 on the top side only, not at the bottom. The taper is only on the top of the rectangular Sankiki. So the required length of the key may be obtained by equating the strength of the key to the strength of the shaft. That means length of the key may be obtained by equating the strength of the shaft to the strength of the key. So right now, torque transmitted by the shaft formula is pi by 16 tau d cube, and this is the torsional equation, that is T is equal to pi by 16 tau d cube. And similarly, the resisting torque in the key is, that means shearing strength is the resisting strength for the shearing strength of the shaft, that is W L tau d by 2. And if you equate these two, you will get your, and but D W is equal to d by 2, and key, if the key is made of same material as the shaft, so tau gets cancelled. Tau, if the shaft as well as the key are made of the same material, then tau and tau of the shaft and key remains the same. So then, and W is equal to d by 4, then L will becomes pi d by 2, which is nothing but the 1.571 d. L is equal to and the standard proportions as per the Bureau of Indian Standards is given in tabular form, and the based on the diameter of the shaft. So these are the proportions of the key, and this is the width of the key, and the shaft and hub. This is the table provided by the Bureau of Indian Standards to take standard proportions. So let us solve some of the problems. So far we had discussed about the design of the shaft and key, and also proportions of the sunk key, and how to determine the length of the key also we have discussed. Let us have a small problem. So let us see this problem. A 40 mm diameter shaft, that means shaft diameter D is 40 mm, is subjected to a tangential force. Here it is not the torque, it is the tangential force given to you. F, capital F is given to you 20 kilonewtons around its circumference. Determine the sizes of shaft key, and the allowable shear stress in the key is 60 Newton per mm square. And you can determine torque also basing on this tangential force. Torque transmitted by the key is T is equal to tangential force into radius of the shaft. That means 20 into 20. 20 kilonewtons into 20 kilonewtons. By that also you can determine the torque, or otherwise directly you can take tangential force into account to equate the stress into area of the key. So here only shear stress is given to you. Thereby the given data is diameter of the shaft D is equal to 40 mm, tangential force F, capital F is equal to 20 kilonewtons, that is 20 into 10 to the power of 3 newtons, and allowable shear stress also given to you, that is 60 newtons per mm square. So for 40 mm shaft diameter, sizes of key, let us decide as per the proportions. Width of the key is equal to W is equal to D by 4, that is 10 mm, and thickness of the key T is equal to D by 6, or 2 by 3rd of the W also, that is 6.687. Let us round out to the next value 7 mm. It means width of the key is 10 mm and thickness of the key is 7 mm, and adopt it as 8 mm. So now let us consider shearing strength of the key. So F, that is tangential force, is equal to shearing area into shearing stress. So sharing area as per previous discussions is equal to W into L, and sharing stress is equal to tau. With this, W into L into tau is equal to tangential force. Let us substitute the W. L is equal to, you have to determine the length of the key. F is there for you, 20 into 10 to the power of 3 newtons, and W is also there for you, that is 10 mm, and tau is also there for you, that is 60 newtons per millimeter square. After substitution, you are going to get length of the key, that is 33.3 mm. So sizes of the key, that is width is equal to 10 mm, and thickness is equal to 8 mm, and length is equal to 34 mm. So like this, you can solve the problems relating to the keys. And next is problem 2. So design a rectangular sunk key for a shaft of 60 mm diameter, and the permissible shearing and crushing stresses in the key are 35 newtons per millimeter square and 75 newtons per millimeter square. That means shearing stress is equal, permissible shearing value is 35 newtons per mm square, where the crushing stresses is 75 newton per sigma c is equal to 75 newton per mm square, and the tau is equal to 35 newtons per mm square, and the shaft diameter is 60. And this, as it is the design, as per the previous discussion, design should be carried out by standard proportions. First of all, calculate the width of the key and thickness of the key based on proportions, and then calculate the length based on the strength. That means shearing strength and crushing strength by considering. So diameter of the shaft D is equal to 60 mm, and the shearing stress is equal to tau is equal to 35 Newton per mm square, and the crushing stress sigma C is equal to 75 Newton per mm square. And now torque transmitted by the shaft. So T is equal to, first of all, based on the pi by 16 tau d cube. This is the torque transmitted by the shaft. Tau is there for you, same as the key material, because of the key material, which is 35, and diameter of the shaft is given to you. So with this, you can calculate torque value as 14,83,650 Newton millimeters. So with this, so size of your key, assuming the material of the shaft as the same as the key material, that's why now we have taken as key material. So now let us, as per the standards given and proportions, width of the key W is equal to D by 4, that is 60 by 4 is equal to 15 mm, and thickness of the key T is equal to D by 6, that is 60 by 6 is equal to 10 mm. That means width is 15 mm and thickness of the key is 10 mm. And now, after considering the shearing strength of the key, let us determine the length of the key. And T is equal to L into W, which is the shearing area, and shearing stress into D by 2, radius of the shaft. With this, we can calculate L is equal to 2T by W into tau into D. After substitution of T is there for you, and W is also there for you, and tau is also there for you, and diameter is also there for you. After substitution of all these values, we are going to get length of the key, that is 94.2 millimeters. Okay. So now, considering the shearing strength of key, and now crushing strength of the key, and T is equal to small t is equal to, this is the thickness of the key, is equal to 4T by, so this is the L, let it be and L is equal to 4T by T into sigma C into D. In such case, capital T is there for you and small t is also there for you, and tau C, sigma C is also there for you, and D is also there for you. After substitution of all the values, you got 131, L is equal to 131.8. Now, which is rounded off to the 132 mm. So the length of the key L is equal to whichever is the larger. Previous is, so L is equal to 94.2. If you consider this 94.2, it will not withstand the crushing strength. So because as per this calculation, length of the key is equal to 132 mm. So this is to be adapted as the length of the key. So length of the key is equal to 132 mm. So the sizes as per the standards, as per the calculations, width is equal to 15 mm, thickness is equal to 10 mm, and length is equal to 132 mm. This is the size calculated based on the given data. That is, diameter is given to you, height is given to you, sigma c is given to you. Based on that, we have taken the sizes as 15 into 10 into 132. Right? This is the problem that we have solved so far. And problem 3. Here a square key, it is the square key, that means width is equal to thickness of the key, has a breadth equal to 1/4 of the shaft diameter. Breadth is equal to, that means width of the key is equal to 1/4 of the shaft diameter, and the shaft and key are made of same material. That means material for shaft as well as the key is the same. That's why tau of the shaft and tau of the key is same. With the compression stress equal to the twice the shear stress, that means sigma c is equal to 2 times of the tau. Find the required length of the key in terms of shaft diameter necessary to transmit the shaft torque. So width of the key or breadth of the key is equal to W is equal to D by 4, and as it is the square key, which is W is equal to T is equal to D by 4, and also given that sigma c is equal to 2 times of the tau, and torque transmitted by the shafts is equal to pi by T is equal to pi by 16 d cube into tau, and the shearing strength of the key is equal to L W tau d by 2, which is T is equal to, and if you equate these two, that means shearing strength of the key and shearing strength of the shaft, if you equate these two, pi by 16 d cube tau is equal to L into W into tau into d by 2. As per the given data in the problem, the material of the key as well as the material of the shaft is same. Thereby, the stress induced in the shaft, shearing stress, torsion shear stress induced in the shaft is also same as the shearing stress induced in the key. That's why tau is equal to tau gets cancelled, and pi gets cancelled, and this is the 4, it will become 4 and 2, 8, and it will become 2. L is equal to pi d by 2. So L is equal to pi d by 2, that is length of the key is equal to 1.571 d. This is the problem. Length of the key is equal to 1.571 d. And next problem, what stresses are induced in a square key of 12 mm side and 75 mm long placed in a 50 mm diameter shaft if the power 15 kilowatts power is transmitted at a 200 rpm. Here it is the width of the key is given to you as it is a square key thickness is also, that means W into T, W is equal to T is equal to 12 mm, and length of the key is equal to L is equal to 75 mm, and diameter of the shaft is also given to you, that is 50. T is there for you, W is there for you, E is also there for you, L is also there for you. And the torque is to be calculated. So based on the power formula and also speed is also given. So let us solve this problem. Square key W is equal to T is equal to 12 mm and length of the key is equal to L is equal to 75 mm and diameter of the shaft is equal to 50 mm and power is equal to 15 kilowatts and the speed in revolutions per minute 200 revolutions per minute. This is the data given to you, and the torque transmitted can be calculated by using the power formula, that is P is equal to 2 pi mt by 60. So T is equal to 60 into P by 2 pi n, and 60 as it is the power is given in kilowatts, that 10 to the power of 3 is to be multiplied. That means 60,000 into 15 by 2 pi into 200. Then you got 716.2 Newton meters. This is in Newton meters. So convert this into Newton millimeters. 716.2 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton millimeters torque is transmitted by the key and shaft. So now the shear stress of key is equal to T is equal to LW into tau into D by 2, and tau to be calculated, shear stress of the key is to be calculated, tau is equal to 2T by LWD. This formula is wrong. LWD. So T is there for you, L is also there for you, W is also there for you, and D is also there for you. After substitution, you got tau as 31.8 Newton per mm square. And for crushing stress, also there is a formula, that is sigma C is equal to 4T by LTD. A T is there, L is there, T is there, small t is also there, and small d is also there. After substitution, you got 63.6 Newton per mm square. This is all about the design of key based on the given data. So let us have a small summary of this lesson. In this lesson, you have studied about design of sunk key, not saddle key, in shear as well as the crushing, and proportions of sunk key is also there, and also some of the problems we have solved so far. So based on this study, let us have a small quiz. Distribution of stress. The distribution of stress along the length of the key fitted in shafts is uniformly constant and varies linearly, and is exponential shape, being more at the torque input end, and is exponential in shape, being less at the top input end. So is a parabolic shape, which is the right answer in this. So once again, the question is the distribution of stress along the length of the key fitted shaft. As per our discussion, assumption, actually it is the assumption but not, it is of exponential shape, being more at the top input end. But our assumption is uniformly constant. Sunk key, second is provided in the hub only, in the hollow to fit the shaft, has flat surface, and the shaft is planned off to accommodate the key, is fitted such that each withstands torsion in one direction only, and is designed to fit in a sunk key way whose bed is parallel to the axis. So D is the right answer. And flat key is provided in the bulb hub, sorry, not bulb, only, and hollow to fit the shaft, has a flat surface, and the shaft is planned off to accommodate the key, and is fitted such that each withstands torsion in one directionally. This is tangent key, and designed to fit the sunk key. This is wrong, and only the flat key. This answer is wrong. This is to be B is the right answer. Which of the following key transmits the power through frictional resistance only? Square key, tapered key, Kennedy key, and saddle key. Which is the right answer in this? So, due to frictional resistance, saddle key is the right answer. Which of the following steel key is usually strong in failure by shear and crushing? Rectangular key, flat key, square key, and circular key. Which is the right answer? As per our discussion, square key is the right answer. Kennedy key is not right. Square key is the right answer. For a square key of side d by 4, where d is the diameter of the shaft, length should be given below in the order that it is as strong as in shear, as shaft in the torsion. D 1.5D, 2D, 2.5D, and 3D, which is the right. So 1.75D, L is equal to 1.571, sorry, 1.571. Some exercise problems here are the design a rectangular sunk key for a shaft of diameter is given to you. Permissible stresses are given to you in this. 50 as the shear stress, and this is similar to the previous problem, second problem, I think. So here we have to take proportions as per the standards, and determine the length of the key based on shearing and crushing, and whichever is the larger, that is to be adapted as the length. So like this you can design this problem. And here also another problem, a rectangular sunk key 14 mm wide and 10 mm thick and 70 mm long. Width is given to you, thickness is given to you, length is also given to you, and required to transmit the power and to determine whether the length is sufficient if the permissible shear stress and crushing stress are limited to 56 and 168 newtons per mm square respectively. Draw the proportion sketch of the key. So this is to be solved as same as the previous case. First, check for the shear stress, the length, determine. If it is not sufficient, you can determine and check for both the shearing as well as crushing. So with this, we concluded our discussion so far, whatever we had discussed. So friends, so with this we concluded our keys topic. In the previous lesson, types of keys and everything we had discussed in this lesson, and the design concluded. So